Hello again, Supervisor, and welcome back to Retro Flashback Plays StarTopia. After your, shall we say, charitably nail-biting experience running a criminal rehabilitation station, you followed up with an absolute masterclass in R&D for the Turracan Committee. I hope you're ready for something very different and groovy as we now begin our new contract with the Kamarama Commune. How's it going, guys? My name is Parallax Abstraction, and yes indeed, so, a little bit of a programming note here. See how we got Kamarama Commune here, and then we got this mission underneath? Yeah, so, funny story about that. I actually recorded this entire mission the other night, did the whole thing, and then found out that my capture software decided to change a setting all on its own, and all the footage was wrecked. I spent hours trying to recover it. Couldn't do it, so...
Welcome. You now work for Kamarama Commune. They want to reactivate the biodeck of this station and set up a simple ecology there.
So, yes, a little bit of a programming note here. This mission is both really awesome because it's focused on the biodeck, which is, I think, the most interesting part of this game, but it's also... not very well tutorialized. There's a lot of elements of how the biodeck works that the game doesn't tell you until well into the mission that kind of puts you under the gun and makes for a long section where you're kind of going, huh? I don't understand. So, because I've already gone through this, I'm going to be ahead of the curve a little bit, and I think it's actually going to make this second take much more condensed and much more interesting to watch. So I'm going to get ahead of its tutorializing a little bit here on the biodeck and show you guys that stuff. So, just so you're aware of that, yeah, this time trashing footage was actually in our favor, I think.
Up some basic facilities first for the Kamarama farmers that will be arriving soon. A few hard-planned crates.
The Kamarama are one of my favorite factions or species in this game because they're basically space hippies. And it's pretty amazing, as your guys are going to see soon. This is a very interesting mission, actually, in terms of how it progresses. It kind of throws some interesting twists at you, which I'm going to show you guys here, and it's pretty neat. But I think the biodeck is one of the most interesting parts of this game, and it's a really fascinating idea. Also comes with a real huge amount of flexibility in terms of what you can do with it. It allows for a lot of customization, and you can definitely see the bullfrog influence in this game with that as well, because there's a lot of populace in there, and you're going to see what I mean. But this is a really cool section. I've been wanting to show you the biodeck for a while.
This station is in a much greater state of disrepair. To make new segments habitable, you'll need to spend some energy to reconstruct the hull and inner structure. The cost of renovations is shown on the bulkhead interface, but take care to only expand when you can afford to.
So yeah, basically there's... Oh yes, interesting. This will become apparent later. So yeah, to expand into any section costs money, whereas in previous missions it was not. It was largely free.
To grow plants and harvest at least 50 crates of food from the biodeck. Each plant prefers a particular environment, and not all plants produce food when harvested. You'll need to experiment to find out which plants produce the right crop, and ensure their ideal environment is available.
Here's our space hippies. Don't these guys look awesome? Like, look at these dudes. They're just, oh man, they're so happy, and they're like, dude! Oh, I love it. These guys are great.
You have a time limit to complete this task. The Kamarama Commune promised Arona 50 crates of fine food supplies, but a mysterious plague of giant insectoid space monsters has blighted crops all over the planet.
That's unfortunate.
You must fulfill the contract and have the food supplies ready by the time Arona collects the shipment. He's scheduled to pick up the goods in 100 rotations. If you fail,
God. Arona relations could suffer? This guy who's been ripping me off the entire game? Oh, the horror. So yes, here we go. So we got a few, we got our normal things here. We got our Lavatron. We got our space toilet. We got our space dynamat. And we got our space barracks, if you will. So we're gonna drop this down. Now, as I said, I kind of understand how the biodeck needs to work now to build what we need to build. So I will still give you guys a little demonstration of how it actually functions, and you can see what I'm talking about. But is a weird one. You have to build down for some reason. There we go. We'll put that there, and we'll put a chronometer here. Right, except this, that breaks the slumber pod. Alright, there we go. So, yeah, so I'm going to show you this. So that's the entertainment deck. So here's the bio deck. So as you can see, it's there's a lot you can do in here. So, and this comes into play much later in the game. So you can significantly alter the environment in here. If you watch the tutorial video, you saw a little bit about that.
No doubt we'll be seeing a Rona around here soon enough. Additional facilities can be bought from him if you think you need them.
So if you recall, you can raise and lower the land, which is critical. You can raise and lower water, as you can see. And then you can change the moisture in the ground and the heat. Now, in this particular mission, we have pretty much only one goal with the bio deck, which is to grow and harvest crops. So, because I was able to cheese this a little bit last time, I know how this works. So, to grow foodstuffs, really, you just need the ground to be as hot and as damp as possible.
Arona here. You look like a person in need of goods, and guess what? I've got some. Care to make a purchase?
We definitely do need some stuff for the upper deck. We also could use some more scuzzers, though we don't seem to have very many of those. A love nest would be good. And I also know that we're going to need a cargo hold or 3 later on. So yeah, so the game will explain this later, but every species actually does prefer a different kind of environment in the bio deck. Both for, like, if you have a really good diverse bio deck that caters to all the different species that visit your station, it will contribute to them being happy. And it can actually reduce the amount of stuff you need to have on your pleasure deck, because a lot of them just like to come and hang out here. But in this case, all we really want to do is grow food, so pretty much the entire bio deck is going to be one particular thing. I am going to leave this little lake open here, because people like to swim in there, particularly the Kamarama, and you can actually grow, the stuff you harvest from the lake is actually, can be sold as medical supplies.
You're not growing enough food plants. Perhaps you should think about adjusting their environment.
Yeah, see, this is the annoying part about this. The game will harangue you for quite some time about not having enough environment for foodstuffs, but it won't explain what you need to do about it. It's much later that it does that, which is really kind of dumb. So, alright, so we're set up there. So let's go to the E deck here and get ourselves a let's get ourselves a love nest started here for the entertainment of our patrons. Gotta get your space brothel. People love their space brothels. Actually, you know what? That's a lousy position of that. There we go. So, yeah, so as you're gonna see later on, you can definitely get some rather incredible stuff going on the bio deck, and that will become very, very critical. If you don't have stuff, if you don't have a fairly diverse bio deck later in the game, it will hurt you quite a bit. And it can be very tricky to manage sometimes, because as we're also going to see later, and I'll wait till we get to that point, but harvesting your stuff is rather interesting. So we're going to get a cargo deck built here, because we definitely need one. So I think the bio deck is cool for a number of reasons, which is that it has, I think, the neatest soundtrack. I think some of the best music in the game is down here. The creatures, especially the weird sort of cat-bird sounding thing that's constantly going off, is a bit frustrating. It gets a little old after a while, but yeah, I like that. So we're actually going to build this out, because the more of this, the better. And as you can see, bio decks by default are kind of a little bit messed up, and you've got to do something about it. But I also want to show you one of my other favorite parts about the bio deck. Check this out. Wah! Yeah. So the bio deck is the only deck, for whatever reason, that actually lets you step outside and look around. which I think is really, really cool. And as you can see here, he said the station's in disrepair. Yeah, as you can see, any of the decks that have not been opened, kind of busted up. But yeah, you can do that at any time. You can just sort of fly out the window and do whatever you want, which I think is really cool. Ooh, a Star Motel could also be useful for the upper floor. Really need some more scuzzers around. Can you help me out with that, bro? Call your suppliers. So let's put Star Motel here. Oop.
Now you've expanded further, you can put aside more land for recreation. Each race prefers a particular type of landscape.
As you can see, a lot of people like swimming.
The Casvagorian like their nanosoil hot and dry, while the Greys prefer the opposite, cold and wet. Anyway, the more interesting your landscape, the better. A flat, dull biodeck devoid of life will inspire no one. Don't neglect your visitors and residents. You need facilities.
So that's more important later on, is to have the diverse biodeck. At this point, honestly, your real goal is just to get as much foodstuffs as you can. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to build this up here because I'm going to
hire a few more Karmarama farmers. The more the merrier.
Yes. So when Val says that, it usually means it's because more Karmaramas got on the station. So the Karmaramas are interesting and a little paradoxical, if you will. They are basically space hippies, as you can pretty much tell. They love their farming and their organics and their everything else. But the funny part about them is that they also really like their money. You will notice a lot in the game that the Karmarama tend to be the group who will quit the most and leave the station. We haven't had a lot of trouble with that so far in the game with staffers leaving, but they will do that. And most of the time, the way you fix that is by promoting them. We haven't had to do promotions very much so far, but that does become a fairly big factor later on. If you don't keep guys promoted, you know, much like real life, after a time they'll be like, well, this sucks, I'm getting out of here. And, yeah, so the Karmarama actually get very pushy for promotions and will frequently threaten to leave if they don't get them. So the space hippies are actually somewhat capitalistic, and like I said, they really like their money, which is a little contradictory and a little weird, but it, yeah, it's, you know, space is an interesting place, I guess. So that's going to be required as well later. So a lot of the time, if you hear one of your Karmarama residents has quit, what you can do is if you go near the port, you'll see him when he's about to leave, and you can right-click on him and promote him a couple of times, and then he'll be like, oh, okay, man. Now I can afford more space weed, so I'll go back to work. And it's seriously kind of like that, which I always find a little amusing. What's this?
Most races enjoy a visit to the biodeck for a bit of rest and relaxation in pleasant surroundings.
We already have a lake.
So why not create a small lake? Create a hole in the ground and fill it with water. Don't make it too big, though.
Hi, Rona. Anything else you can get for us right now? Another Scuzzer Mark 1 would be nice. So yeah, that's kind of how it works with them. But like, as I said, the biodeck, this is a good introduction to the biodeck and its mechanics, but in this mission you really don't care too much about diversifying it. Having a lake is good because you can grow some medical supplies. Certain types of soil are also good for growing things like luxury goods, which you can sell for a lot of money. But really, you want as much farmland as possible, which is what we're doing here. And actually, I forgot something. You see these little tiny dots here? These allow you to change how big an effect the sort of paintbrush has. So look how much, by turning that up full blast, you can see I did that very, very quickly. So that's a very good thing. You have to be careful when you're applying water, though, because water in this game is very weird about boundaries, as you can see. So it will spread very, very quickly if you let it. And that can be a little weird. So now another thing that the game does not tutorialize until much later that I'm going to do is how you harvest things. So this is a bit of an annoying thing, is that the game, when you have, whoop, here we go, there's another farmer. I'm going to hire as many of these as possible. Oh, there's another one there. I'm just chilling out on the floor. Dude, got all this space weed, crops for you to grow. Oh yes, it also occurs to me I have not hired any sirens for the love nest. Derpity derpity do. So, yeah, one of the annoying little more micromanagey things about the biodeck, unfortunately, is that stuff has to be manually harvested. Stuff will not...
Pack up plants and turn them into cargo.
Here he is.
Right-click on a plant. When the plant reaches maturity, it will automatically be harvested and turned into cargo.
So, this is the annoying thing, is that the game will not auto-harvest anything. It requires you to just go almost like a friggin' weird, and this is well before its time, but...
You've harvested your first food crate. Well done! Note the type of plant that produced it and the soil
So
required.
It's almost like a friggin', you know, a
sure
Farmville
there's plenty of
game or
this
something
soil
like
type
that, where you
available.
just have to keep tapping constantly, because you can do it right away, as you can see, and this little meter indicates when a plant is going to hit maturity. And it will turn into cargo crates. And at that point, you can either pick them up... Oh dear, somebody died. That's rather unfortunate. I don't have a recycler at the moment either, so I'm going to drop this here and have the scuzzers clean them up. The scuzzers will clean them up eventually, but... yeah, so... You have to click on everything. Now, if I recall correctly, if you let stuff sit longer, it becomes more valuable because it grows bigger as it gets past its maturity point. But in this, you don't necessarily want to do that. And when stuff turns into crates, as you can see, scuzzers, if they are idle, will come down and grab them and put them into the cargo hold, if you have one. Or you can just do this. Beam them up yourself, and drop them in the hold. Shoot, Arona left. I actually could use that recycler now.
There are now 80 rotations to go.
So yeah, this kind of gives you the basic idea here of how harvesting works. And harvesting will become an invaluable and critical part of your economy later on in the game. I'm going to open another section here so we can build that recycler. If you do not have... a diverse biodeck, people will get upset, and you will also not be able to harvest stuff. And later on in the game, especially when you're trying to deal with multiple other people intruding on your segments and trying to expand as much as you can, you really need to both manufacture and build and harvest as much as you can. It really becomes critical. And the other thing, of course, is that much like other crates, if you spend too long without harvesting them, they will go bad and vanish. Whoops. Oh yeah, by the way, you can also just pick up plants and beam them around your biodeck, which I never really found a huge use for, but it can be useful. So you see here, there's some luxury goods that were created, and medical supplies are usually created out of water plants. But it's very weird that you can pick up a plant and move it somewhere else, and it's just like, oh no, you just completely separated me from my root system and everything else. But it's all good, doesn't hurt anything. Which, yeah, I always thought was a little weird. But yeah, as you can see, when you're manufacturing and harvesting stuff, cargo holds are critical. Later in the game, you will have large numbers of cargo holds. Like, I think you need a minimum of 2 in this mission, and in other ones you'll have just like, half a dozen or more in some cases, just to hold all the stuff so that you can move it all.
Perhaps you should hire a few more
because you really need again, a large variety of stuff. Because every race has stuff that they prefer to buy and sell, so you really need to ensure that you are not only keeping all of your station residents happy, but that you have enough diversity of crops and product to be able to sell something to everybody as well, right? That's obviously quite critical. So the bummer here, of course, as you can see, is that I did buy a whole new segment here that's got a whole bunch of farmland ready. The one issue is that unless you have a large number of farmers, they tend to like to stick to the segment that's close to home. So as you can see, they're kind of not doing much over here, which is a bit of a bummer. This is one of my favorite songs in the game, actually. I quite like it.
Cutting me own throat here, but buy some goods off me and I'll give you
Alright, so a music shop for upstairs would probably be good. Get some more money coming in. Recycler is a ton of money, but I definitely need one. Arona will take my luxury goods, but not for a great amount of money, so I don't think we're going to bother with that right now. I think I'm going to get a sick bay, too. Sick bays are always good sources of income. As we've said before, this is a station that is somewhat modeled off American ideology, so paying for healthcare, no big deal. One thing I dislike, and I believe I've said this about the cargo hold before, it's kind of a bummer, is the fact that when you buy stuff from a trader, you have to wait for it to go into your cargo hold first. You can't, you know, have it just instantly appear in your pattern buffer and go, hey, you know, grab this and drop it. Let's go. So we need to hire some salt hogs to run that recycler. Little bit of extra energy, very, very critical. Ooh, you are very skilled. There's another farmer. You basically, in this mission, and for that matter in most missions where you're focused on farming, you want to hire as many Karmarama as possible. It's really important to get as many as you can going. Alright, let's drop a music shop up here, get some more money coming in. And then we're going to build that sick bay, I think. Because, yes, get them fat monies from that illness. Your illness sustains me.
You've got 70 rotations left.
So yeah, getting Arona his 50 food crates, not really that difficult. Actually, the other...
The trade ship was detected near your station.
I'm going to admit this, even though it makes me look like a total idiot. One of the funny things in the last mission that, or the last take of this that I did, that was rather amusing, is I for some reason got confused, probably because I was recording late at night. I got confused and thought Arona wanted 100 food crates. So I was panicking, going, oh geez, I gotta get him 100, how am I gonna get Arona 100 food crates? And I did it. I actually got 100 by the time he showed up, and then he's like, okay, thanks, I'll take 50. And I was like, what do you mean? You said you wanted 100, you dick! I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? And then it turns out he only wanted 50. And I was like, oh, my bad. So, yeah, I'm going to have to do a fair bit of micromanagement right now because I don't have many scuzzers. What Arona brings you to trade is sadly pretty random. So, annoyingly, last take, at this point in the mission, I actually had a large number of scuzzers to help harvest, but right now we don't. I'm hoping Arona will show up with some more soon. Because if I don't manage this, we're gonna start having food go bad, which we don't want. We are also going to need another cargo hold when he shows up as well. Oop.
Perhaps you should hire a few more Karmarama.
Way ahead of you there, Val.
More the merrier.
So as you can see, we're already out of space in a cargo hold here, so we're gonna need to get some more going soon. I'm gonna have to basically hold these crates in the pattern buffer for the time being if I don't want them to go bad. So, we do as well need the scuzzers to pick up some litter. I want to be careful about that because I don't want to beam the crates into the litter. Oh, here he is. Need some grays as well. Alright, let's get another cargo hold. Oh, we can't. Oh, wow, we don't have a lot of money. Alright, well, he buys medical supplies at a decent price, actually, so... Yeah, you know what? For now, we'll dump those luxury goods on him at a crappy price because we really do need that other cargo hold. Much as it pains me to get ripped off by this scum peddler, it's really kind of necessary at this stage. Plus, we need to hire some grays to man that sick bay to get more money coming in, so... there's a space rat over there, which is annoying. It's because there's too much garbage, but... don't really have time to think about that right now. I need grays! You don't have very good skill, but you have good dedication. You are useless. And so for right now as well, we really just... I'm just not going to harvest a lot until we get the new cargo facility built. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, because if it's true that leaving stuff like that... makes it mature better, then that's worthwhile.
If you want to make a little additional income, you can sell the flora that you grow on the biodeck to passing traders. Of course, there is the initial investment of the comm sensor and dry dock, but
Problem is I haven't
these are
seen a
built,
StarDock
you'll
yet.
soon recoup your outlay. In the meantime, may I suggest selling to Arona? I know he does
way
not
ahead of
good rates, but as one of the few traders in the sector with a cargo teleport facility, he's the only option.
Yeah, so as you see, we need, so you can get a StarDock and a comm sensor, but for whatever reason, I had this happen last time too, the StarDock really doesn't show up for quite a while, which is kind of annoying. Get another siren going in here. Really do need some more scuzzers though, man. Alright, so that cargo facility is built, so let's get to harvesting. Oh yeah. Get some good luxury and medical goods. If I can get a StarDock built soon, which I did do before, you can actually get some exceedingly good rates by selling to people who need certain things. Like, we're talking like 1500 E per container
run out
here.
Of the type of cargo.
Okay. I guess it's because the sick bay is using it. So as you can see, and I believe allowing plants to grow to higher maturity can make them yield more than one crate, which is nice.
Just keep them safe and fresh for when Arona arrives to collect them. Oh, and you'll need at least
I'm way ahead of you there.
To store.
You see, he even tells you all you needed was 50 crates of food, and yet I was still panicking to get 100 the other night. I must have been really tired. I really do need to learn to not record when I'm tired. Because not only do I not sound as good or interesting, but I also just kind of look like an idiot. So, whoop. Alright. Help out the scuzzers here, because we don't have nearly enough of them. The good thing is now we have some decent money coming in. We have the sick bay, which admittedly is not fully staffed yet, but we do have some stuff coming in from there. We have the love nest working.
Can I offer you some top quality merchandise?
Oh, Arona, I really need scuzzers, bro. Not security scuzzers, real scuzzers. There's a peace totem. That's a statue that'll make Karmarama happy, but don't really have that kind of money right now. As you can see, there's no StarDock. He does have a comm sensor, but there's no StarDock, which is really annoying. He wants a lot of money for that comm sensor too, so... The general store is not super expensive though, and again, another income center. So I think we're gonna work on that. Gimme my sweet store. Thank you. Okay.
Before Arona gets here.
Yeah, well, we're doing just fine on that front, if I do say so myself. There we go. Alright, get ourselves a store built. I mean, we are going to have an excess of food when Arona shows up, but there are people who will buy food in quantity for a lot of money, which is always helpful. Alright, there we go. Yeah, unfortunately the scuzzers are busy both building and cleaning, which, to be truth be told, stuff does need cleaning, so I'm not gonna bust their robo-balls too much about that. Probably gonna need to get another, yeah, we're gonna need another cargo hold soon, too, I think, to motor all this stuff. I think I'm gonna slow down on harvesting for a little while, just so that we don't have to spend as much money, and then, because when Arona shows up, he's gonna take our 50 food crates, which will all of a sudden empty the cargo holds out really good. There's another good siren. You are not a competent doctor. You are quite a competent doctor. I want to get enough grays going that I can have this sick bay fully staffed pretty much all the time. So that'll be good. Things are running pretty well, actually. Everybody's, I'm gonna promote this guy a couple of times to keep him around because he's got good skill. Everybody's happy. The station's a little dirty, but everybody's happy. The facilities are running well.
It's your old pal Rona. Now wait till you see the
He still doesn't have a star dock or any decent scuzzers. Man, Arona, what the hell, dude? Not impressed, man. His price on the comm sensor is a little bit more reasonable this time, though, because he's got 4 of them. So I think I'm going to actually grab that.